that is one example.
You all join me in reciting the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Thank you and welcome to the Monday, March 2nd, 2026 Frankfort Municipal Utility Service Board meeting. First item on the agenda tonight is roll call.
Mike Kelly.
Present.
Mike Reeder.
Present.
Rick Gunyon.
Present.
Krista Stillwell.
Present.
Josh Hewitts.
Present. And I'll just go ahead and add Todd won't be here until later if he is here at all. He is currently on a conference call with prospective data center developer and the IMPA regarding power purchase. So anyone here for, approval of minutes? Anyone have any corrections or additions they want to make to the minutes from our last meeting?
I'd make a motion we accept the minutes as presented.
Okay. Second. Okay, motion from Mike, second from Mike.
Rick Gunyon.
I need to abstain as I was not present.
Mike Reeder.
Aye.
Mike Kelly.
Present.
Aye.
Aye.
Krista Stillwell.
Aye.
Josh Hewitts.
Aye. Okay, public participation. Has anyone signed up for public participation this evening?
Nothing up there.
Okay, I don't see anyone, so we'll move on to safety minute. Does anyone have a safety minute, or was Todd supposed to do that and didn't show up?
I'm going to guess based on the glances there is not a safety minute this evening.
That's all right. We'll move right along on to... Sure, that'd be great. If you want it. Go ahead. Floor is yours, sir.
Good afternoon. Today's safety minute is titled Near Misses. A near miss is the warning before the warning. In our industry, we work in high-risk environments, such as being in energized substations and working around energized power lines. The sewer and water departments work in high-traffic areas, put themselves in confined spaces and deep holes. Serious injuries rarely come out of nowhere. They're usually preceded by warning signs, which is referred to as a near miss. That could end it very differently. Near misses are free lessons, but only if we treat them that way. They should never be about blame. They should be about fixing the process and improving communication and strengthening safeguards. The safest utilities aren't the ones without close calls. They're the ones that learn from it. And every near miss report is an opportunity to prevent a serious injury before it happens.
Very good.
Great information.
That is. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, we'll move on to reports of officers and staff. First up will be our auditor, Andrew Day.
I was able to close 2025 last week. Week before? Doesn't matter. So we're good to go. We are in 26. I haven't heard of any issues. I think everybody's been working pretty much okay in it. So we're good to go there. I plan on getting January and February reconciled this week before I head off on vacation. So,
okay. Anybody have any questions or comments for Andrew before we move on? Okay. Hey, great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up is Karen Milam with the billing office.
For the month of February, we sent out almost 10,000 bills, almost 1,800 disconnects. We had 2 new accounts, brand new accounts set up last month, and 40 new customers. As of right now, we do not have a live date for our resident access, which is our new updated website. They have installed things on the back end about 2 to 3 weeks ago, but nothing is live yet. We are going to be doing a Munis update hopefully this month, depending on their scheduling and availability. We've already started the process of updating our cashiering. It's updated on our test environment, so the cashiers can go and make sure that everything is working as normal. I don't anticipate any major changes in that. There usually isn't. I'm currently making progress on the video that we talked about, explaining how to read your bill. I'm having to teach myself how to make videos, so it's fun, but also time consuming, and other things take priority over that. But it's definitely something that I want to get done. Also, we have the moratorium ending in about 2 weeks, which is the assistance that the state does for people. The moratorium, which goes from December 1st through March 15th. Anybody that has not paid their bill, electric portion, will be shut off on Tuesday the 17th, because we have to wait until the next business day. As of right now, we only have 12 accounts that fall into that category, and given that we still have 2 weeks ahead, that's really good. Typically we only have 5 or so accounts. So
okay. Anyone have any questions or comments for Karen? All right, thanks, Karen. Okay, next up is Phil Farrell again with the electric department report.
The tree core has been trimming in the southwest part of town.
Okay.
It kind of started at the east and working their way across the west. And Tanya, the arborist, just shoved us several takedowns. For the in-house guys, it'll make the tree budget go a lot further. We've been setting poles on the southwest part of our system, new poles, and updating the hardware and transferring the wire, just kind of updating the lines out there. And Shane and I have been working with Tyler still. We have another meeting here in a couple of weeks to try to establish a barcode system for our storeroom.
To
make keeping inventory a lot easier than how it has been in the past. And I don't know if anybody's taken a trip down Jackson Street lately, but from CVS to Kelly Road, I've been trying to budget so much money at the beginning of the year to update the old LED street lights. Jackson Street was looking pretty gloomy, so we've updated those to the newer style LEDs and replaced the original LEDs.
I did see the guys have been down there working.
Yep. So that's what we've been doing down there. It made a big difference. I drove into town one night just being nosy, and I turned there to go south, and holy cow. And in the month of February, we've had 10 outages. 5 of those were equipment failure, blowing lightning arresters, broken cutouts. 1 was on the customer side. Only killed 1 animal this month in February. And then we had 3 for unknown reasons where we couldn't find a reason the line went out. That's all I got.
Great.
Did you get a hold of DNR on that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Anybody have any questions or comments for Phil? Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Shane, you're up.
Email archive migration has been going well. I'd say pretty much everything's been downloaded, just working on trying to get everything up into Microsoft now.
Oh, okay.
So now that's going to take a little bit of time. But other than that, IT-wise, everybody seems to be doing well. There were some problems before the meeting tonight with Old Stony and Street Department, but we got that going.
Good.
So I'll double check on them tomorrow morning, but everything seems to be okay.
Good. I don't hear any complaints about email. And, I've had good luck going back and finding things that I would consider to be archived. Maybe they're not that old, but I forget things pretty easy. So, but no problems here. So
cool.
Thanks for the good work.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I have, just so you guys know, I did a test retrieval after I got a few things in the archive,
Mm-hmm.
and it went well. I was able to, just like if it was a public information request, I could put the criteria in there, and you have to wait about 10 minutes, but then it pops right back with all the information. So
wow.
It works.
Good.
So.
All right. Anybody have any questions or comments for Shane? No? Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. All right. Moving right along here. Well, we got Chase Thompson with the Water Department report.
Pumpages for the water department for the month of February, our average was 3.48 million gallons, which is running pretty steady with the way things have been going. A high day of 4.2 million and a low day of 2.8 million. Again, which gives you that average. Everything at the plant's running really well. We've had a few fixes. I think last time we reported on a pump that ended up being fixed. It's doing great. The cleaning of the hypo cells doing great. Haven't had any issues so far. We do have 2 operators that are registered for class. I think I reported on it before. They are actually registered in that WT3 class that runs from May 4th to May 7th. It's kind of a new idea on what they're doing. Instead of being a 6-week long class, they're shortening it to a week, and then they will take the test the last day of that week. So they take the test immediately after instead of scheduling it at a later date and going through.
That makes it nice.
Seems
fresh
like
in their mind.
It's supposed to be working better, according to what they've said. The yearly CCR has been completed, and we will be getting those distributed at the end of the month, sometime the 1st of April. We'll have to get it sent to Express Prints, and then I get with Karen, and the billing office ladies, get those sent out. We also have our ERP, which is an emergency response plan, and our RRA, which is risk and resilience plan, that are certified. They have to be certified every 5 years for customers that have 3,000 or more connections in the city. So those are updated and certified. Our meter shop still replacing meters. Took advantage of some of the warmer weather and got out and got some that were outdoors, that were bigger ones to get changed, and moving right along with it. Maintenance has been working through the upcoming paving list for the 2026 year. We go through, again, try to listen on those services and find the services that need replaced before they get there.
Right.
That way we're not digging up new asphalt. However, that said, we have had, it was 2 main breaks when I talked this morning in our department head meeting, but now it is 3 main breaks as of this afternoon. We ended up having 2 on East Jefferson Street. They just recently got the water turned back on there, so we just issued the boil advisory for it here just a little bit ago. But yeah, so 3 main breaks. They've had 2 repairs on meter pits, and then also working on concreting holes that were left over from the winter that they had full of gravel.
Okay.
Packets, I gave you guys a couple packets on the buildings for the new maintenance buildings. That's some information with some of the specs. I didn't give them to all of you, and I apologize. I only made 3 copies. Basically, we have our spend down amount that we have to spend through SRF, and this is a way of getting that spend down done so we don't end up getting penalized on the total amount from that SRF line.
Right. But it's a necessary build at the
Our
same
maintenance
time.
shop is getting very worn out.
Sure.
So looking at it, my next step for me, I wanted to get this in front of you guys, make sure that I can proceed forward with what I'm doing. My next step is to get with Liz and Rob on some of the permitting.
Okay.
I have Mike Littister. He has us on the books. Nothing set in a date yet, but has us on the books. I wanted to make sure that we got on it, and then if we had to cancel, we could.
Okay.
So just moving forward with everything, kind of wanting to see where you guys are filled out on that building and my ability to proceed forward.
Right. Okay. I was getting ready to ask you, what do you need from us to help you? And obviously,
right now, nothing. Some of this has changed. I talked to Rick about it. We actually moved this into 1 building instead of 2. Sizing is still the same. There's a couple things that have changed as far as door placement, but really it's pretty minor. in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
If you guys need total pricing and things like that, I can give it to you.
Sure. I mean,
Mike?
any information you can give us is fine. But we'll find. I mean, does anybody here have any comments or questions for Chase regarding this building?
I just have a couple of questions.
Okay.
First of all, good work, Chase, on characterizing, what you're looking to build. Excellent work there. I'm not familiar with the projected cost, but the question I have is the projected cost lower than the threshold whereby we would be required to get bids?
Yes, I do believe so. I kind of talked to Alicia about some of this. So I believe I'm correct in saying that in July they passed, I think that was all part of House or Senate Bill 1. Is that correct?
I don't remember what bill it was part of. They passed some legislation threshold.
And so we are well below that, and also below what our SRF funds right now are that we have available. So
Okay.
we will consume all of that.
Okay. Well, I was most concerned about just complying with the
Right.
Sure.
legislative
Yeah,
requirements.
we'll be below that.
Okay. And then the second question, have you given any thought, what's your long-term plan for the existing maintenance building facility site?
So when I spoke to Todd about this, I think that it ends up being turned back over and then ends up going up for auction. The last I knew,
Turn back over to the city?
the city. I think
Mhm.
technically the way that this works is that it
Yeah.
is technically a city-owned building.
It is.
Okay.
And then in that case, then it gets turned back over to the city, can go up for auction. They can do with it what they please. But then we would just be out of it.
Somebody buys it, it goes back on the tax roll.
Sure.
So there'd be a process where once the new building is construction complete and you've checked it out, commissioned it, if you will, and you've cleared out all your material and supplies and equipment from the current site, we would just have a letter of notice to turn that back over to the city property, and declare our use is over, and it would be the city's responsibility from there on out, right? That's what I'm
I
understanding.
believe so, yes.
Okay,
Would
great.
will we have to make a recommendation to the city council to dispose of property,
Yeah, I
much
mean,
like we did with the power line?
yeah, that's what we'd want to do. I mean, ultimately, that property would be, I mean, it's technically theirs. So, I mean, we don't have to. But yeah, I usually recommend having this board come up with like a plan of what they think is appropriate and telling the council, because otherwise the council just ends up with this building that they don't know what it is and what it was and what to do with it. So that usually just helps them out so that they have an idea of where it came from and why they're dealing with it. So that would be my recommendation, is to do a resolution, and then we'll send that off to the council, and then the council can ultimately take your recommendation or not. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
I think
I'm not saying we have to do that. I was just
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
asking,
usually what I recommend, but it's not a requirement per se.
I think
Okay.
we did a resolution when we abandoned the water plant uptown and it went to Prairie Creek Park.
oh okay.
I think we did a resolution on that, right?
We
I think we
we
did.
usually do. I like having a paper trail.
I'm pretty
So-
sure we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that led me to my other associated question here. Maybe I just don't remember in my old age, but did we do any kind of resolution or anything on the McKinley Avenue water plant?
So
We're still on that property.
And we're doing what with it?
It's
everything that was McKinley Avenue
Right.
water plant was decommissioned in this last. That was actually where part of this SRF came from originally.
Right.
It is decommissioned. The state, as far as the state is concerned as well, the wells are capped. Everything that needed to be removed has been removed. So basically, it's empty lot, almost like it didn't exist. It's
So-
just part of the property of.
So
That
then
maintenance
my question then is, as you might guess, has the utilities declared to the city that we have no more further use of that property, or is there something we need to do
So
to
it's
remove equipment or?
so it is still part of what we consider the McKinley maintenance shop, because it's set directly behind it. It's just a grass strip that we mow now. So
It'll be part of this process,
correct.
right?
It'll all go together with this
Okay,
this process.
that's
yes.
a simple answer. Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you. Good work.
Anyone else have any comments or questions for Chase?
No.
Would you like for us to give you the authority to proceed with this building?
Yes, please.
Okay, in case we haven't, because to be honest, I couldn't remember if we had or not.
It was contingent, I believe, on the spec that you ended up
Okay,
getting
correct.
signed
And
from Cam.
I believe, and if we don't, I would make the motion to
Okay.
proceed as specified by Chase Thompson here in the attached paperwork pile.
And I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion from Rick and a second from Mike Reeder. Go ahead with a roll call vote to proceed.
Mike Kelly,
Aye.
Mike Reeder,
Aye.
Rick Gunyon,
Aye.
Krista Stillwell,
Aye.
Josh Hewitt.
Aye. Good deal. All right, Chase.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next up is PJ Whitaker, wastewater and sewer.
All right. The staff at the plant has serviced all the process pumps. There's quite a few, so it took a little bit of time. We've also made a repair to filter 4. During chlorination and cleaning, we found some broken welds, so that filter can't sit empty overnight, so it's a lot of filling and draining, getting in there and working. So they finished it up today, and it's back online. The maintenance guys had 10 sewer calls, 6 of them were on us. We did a lateral repair on Sullivan, 2 catch basin repairs, 1 in Catterlin and Jefferson, 1 at Wabash and 5th. Did a main repair on Wabash, repaired a ladder on 2 places on 2nd Street, and a storm line repair on McKinley Avenue. Also, last Friday, we took a voluntary safety course by Centerpoint, where it's basically just a refresher, right? I don't think we learned a whole lot other than one thing we did pick up on was our departments are considered separate entities for locates. So that being said, if we were to go and assist Phil on a dig,
You'd have to get
we would have to get our own locate. But we can move forward and have all of us under one umbrella, and I think that's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
It would just make sense, you know, the amount of times that we help each other out, being covered under the same umbrella would probably be beneficial to everybody.
Yeah, we don't have to wait.
So we're
for
gonna
a vote.
proceed
Yeah.
with that.
Okay.
And
I don't
then
think anybody would be
That's,
opposed to
that's
that.
best.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Yeah.
100%.
also during that course, this little fact that he laid out during the course, on January 14th in Greencastle, a boring crew hit a gas line. The gas came back towards the boring equipment. They smelled it, immediately shut everything down, called 911, and then the gas followed the service line into the house. 19 minutes after 911 was called, the house exploded. That's how quick bad things can happen.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Okay. Okay. Was there anything? Did you have anything?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I think everything's taken care of on. We talked
Right.
before the
Yeah.
meeting, so
Gotcha. Right on. Anybody have any comments or questions for PJ? Okay. Okay. Lagoons. Rick?
So, several days ago, I provided the board with a overview of the 2026 Lagoons site improvement plan as I envision or as I propose, and we could divide it into 5 or 6 themes. I'm asking for comments, feedback, questions. The themes are general site security, and that involves the security access gate and new procedures and controls. It involves some new features to help separate vehicles from visitors, certain locations, and you saw that depicted in the slides. It involves, number 3, a new pilot fishing spot is how I've named it, which allows people to get down close to the water level and fish from a grassy surface, whereas today the water is 2 to 3 feet below where you're standing, and you're fishing across a bunch of rocks and debris. That would not be the case in this fishing spot. And the idea of the fishing spot is we would build one ourselves as a model, and then we would network with community companies and participants and investors and try to essentially lease or contract or have sponsorships for construction of additional ones as funding permits and appropriate signage, not unlike TPA Park does.
Okay.
The next theme is the improvements in the wetlands, wildlife viewing area, and that involves cutting away some trees and getting essentially a lane down to the wildlife water area where we can have a walking path down there sloped appropriately and allow people to walk down and get to a raised area in the wetlands to view wildlife from below. That would be a tremendous improvement for bird watchers and nature lovers. And then lastly, just some general wildlife habitat improvements that involve overseeding the entrance lane, whereas today what's been cut back and cut down is kind of like a war zone, if you will, of tree stubs and undergrowth and weeds growing up.
Yeah.
We would kill all that stuff with Roundup and then put in some wildlife seeding and prairie grass seeding to make it look more beautiful, right?
Right. So, non-invasive, indigenous, all that.
Yeah,
kind
there
of
you
stuff.
go.
Yeah.
So of all those topics, I've not discussed this with anybody besides Todd, but would entertain any questions, comments, suggestions from the board at this point. What you'd like to do, not do, prioritize, input, changes, whatnot, if any. Our first priority would be working with local contractor on the access gate.
Site security.
Yes, and updating county sheriff and chief Shoemaker as to that moving forward. If you recall, last year we put that on hold because we believed that we did not own the property necessary.
Oh,
and
right.
that the Beacon GIS was incorrect and showing that it wasn't ours. And after we got the surveyor involved, it is actually ours.
Okay,
the
good.
cities, that is. So we have property rights to put in the gate as we envisioned it. So that is our first priority to get that moving in the spring. And at this point, the sooner the better, because the company we're speaking with here locally gets pretty busy around April, May, June.
Okay.
So if we can get in on their work plan, their job schedule before then, we'll probably get a substantial discount. So again, questions? I'll be quiet here.
I just have a comment. I think the gate is essential, and we should probably pursue that and get that in the works. So, get on their calendar and get it done as soon as possible, because that's key to everything else that goes on out there.
Yes, good. We agree.
Contractors working.
Well, we've chosen Bastille Perimeter Systems. They're a local gate manufacturer, automated gate manufacturer. I actually put in a whatever the form is. I can't remember what it's called. You're all familiar with it.
The conflict of interest form.
Yeah, yeah, because my family and the owners of Bastille are family related, so I don't want to look like I'm funneling money to myself. I'm not a board member or anything like that, but there is a family relationship there. And the reason is it's a very high quality product made locally, and they would I'll use the phrase work as a deal, because what they would literally take their office employees a mile from their location on Magnolia Avenue, and they would go out and participate and watch the construction of this gate, which most of their office employees have not seen being done before. So it's an educational benefit for their staff as well. It's also a very high quality product. So
they have the openers or can get access.
Oh yeah, they
perfect.
They supply these to they've supplied these to as facilities like the new FBI campus in California. They built all the site security and access for that California site for an FBI campus, for a power station in New Jersey.
Perfect.
So and then down to Key West, Florida. So they're USA wide in their distribution, and they're very high quality, virtually unlimited life product. It's designed with some very supreme components, so it's not going to be something that requires any maintenance or repair anytime in the foreseeable future. So it's put it in place and turn it on. Yeah,
I like that.
It's also spending money locally, which I always prefer to do. And if you come up with something after the meeting tonight and want to toss me a line or throw me a message on my cell phone,
Okay.
feel free to do that. It's not urgent. So thank you.
No, I don't see anything on here I would not be in support of.
And I
do
do agree.
obviously the site security I think is probably a priority.
I totally agree with Mike and you on that,
and
that's what we'll work on starting next week. So yeah.
And
I would say then the seating would be shortly after that. I mean, we are
I think
approaching.
this looks like a great list. You know, however we want to go about it, piece at it as we go, and you know,
As long as the money's there.
yeah,
Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think it's
Improvement.
great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, as I explained earlier, Todd will not be here until late, so we'll go ahead and move on past his slot here under reports. So we'll go ahead and are there any additions for the claims, Andrew, other than what we've seen? Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments prior to approval? All right. I'll entertain a motion then to approve claims.
So move.
Okay,
Second that.
All right, we got a motion from Mike R. and a second from Krista Stillwell. We'll go to roll call.
Mike Kelly,
Aye.
Rick Gunyon,
Aye.
Mike Reeder,
Aye.
Krista Stillwell,
Aye.
Josh Ewitz.
Aye. Okay, claims approved. Okay, under unfinished business from previous meetings, the first item on that list is the Prairie Creek Watershed Agreement. I'm sure you all saw this morning that Alicia sent us an update of kind of where we stand with that agreement, and I think there were three outstanding items that she needed clarification on from us prior to sending it back to the county, correct?
That's correct.
Right, and the first, if I recall, was the addition of, or one of them, I don't know that it was first. I don't have your email memorized, sorry. I did read it. It was the addition of other watersheds and drainage facilities that are inside the city limits of Frankfort. And so we can, how about this? We can discuss these one at a time, or I can give you the overview of all three of them and what I think, and then have discussion, or what do you guys prefer? You just want to hit them one at a time, each bullet point?
that.
Let's do
Yeah,
that.
let's do one at a
Okay.
time.
So the first one was the addition of some other watersheds. You know, I'm not vehemently opposed to that, but that's not the deal that we made when we went to the drainage board and made our proposal, so to speak, after we talked with Dan that evening and the evening that Dan was here. Dan Sheets, Clinton County Surveyor. I don't recall him. I have to go back and look at or watch the meeting. Maybe he did mention that, but I don't recall that. So my 2 cents before you guys is to leave it at Prairie Creek. That to me is the waterway that is a biggest issue, and that is where we put most of our stormwater, to my knowledge.
That's the fund we created too.
And that is
was
the fund
Prairie
we
Creek
created.
maintenance. Yeah.
So I get it. You try to negotiate for all you can get, but I just don't think I'm comfortable doing anything more than what we stated we agreed to. But I'm open for
That's me.
if you guys want to do something different, or you have comments, suggestions, different ideas, please say so.
I totally
because
agree.
don't,
Just like the man ditch, it goes way everywhere. I mean, the Anna Kessler, these ditches are, they just expand out. Granted, they may flow into Prairie Creek. They all probably do, but our intent was to take care of the main watershed going through Frankfort, the one that goes right through downtown, and things that would inhibit the flow of water on it rather than something out.
I totally agree. For example, behind my property, Man Ditch flows just beyond my property line. And at that point, it may be 8 feet wide and 2 feet deep. Maintenance requires a tractor with a backhoe and a chain. If you look at Prairie Creek, it's much wider. The water level is much deeper below the surface level of the surrounding property. And that's where the biggest expense has been. And that's where Dan's need has been for years, is Prairie Creek. And so to me, it's changing the overall intent. And I think we'd just be diluting our funds and our efforts if we start getting drugged into minor maintenance projects on Hannah Kessler or other small ditches. My focus would be Prairie Creek, and that's where I'd like to stay with. Krista, personally.
Yeah, I think for all intents and purposes, if for any reason, in my opinion, there would be an issue caused by one of these ditches to the Prairie Creek watershed and we would need to expand, that would be an outside discussion beyond the confines of this initial agreement. Not to say the door is closed for any reason. It's always up for discussion, but for the purposes of this agreement, I would like for it to reach Prairie Creek. Okay?
All right. Second bullet point, if I recall correctly, was I'm going to forget the third one.
I know them.
The second one. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So the second one was the idea that we would not have the board decide on in-kind labor, that the liaison and the surveyor could make those calls on their own and not bring it back in front of the board. The original discussion that you all had was that any in-kind or financial support would be decided by the board, not necessarily the liaison. Dan had some concerns that would delay things so much that it wouldn't really be practicable.
Okay. So in the past, I know from my experience on the drainage board that when we would need help from the city utilities, that I think that interaction was really between the surveyor and the department heads. Does that sound accurate? Do you recall? No? No? Yes. Okay. I thought I seem to be recall we used to ask for the back truck or jet truck or something. I don't know who had that, but anyway, to me, those are things that could be handled between Dan and the department heads, just like they've always been. I don't know that I like the idea of. So on one hand, I think they can handle it between themselves. I also don't like the idea of our guys getting pulled off of what they're doing or getting a phone call from another entity and saying, hey, I need you to go do X, Y, Z, or, take a tree out of Mrs. Jones' backyard, or, I don't think we want to get into that. I think our intent was to be involved in big things and big projects, and if we could help with the labor we had and equipment that we have with these big projects, that we were likely to participate in kind in that manner, not necessarily these small things.
I absolutely agree, and I would differentiate. I think the proposed approach might end up putting some of our department heads in an uncomfortable position
Correct.
that they feel like they should say yes. I do not want our department heads and
Okay.
our staff being essentially on call as an extension of county drainage maintenance on a day-to-day basis. That's not the intent. It was the bigger projects where we could help. That was a significant need, and I really go back to, for that reason, I think it's more of a, not a daily maintenance, but an extraordinary maintenance item.
Correct.
That should come to the board. We can call emergency meetings with 2 days notice. I mean, not a problem. I just think we leave it as intended, in my opinion. That's my 2 cents.
Correct. I don't think our intent was to be added to their list of contractors.
No.
Okay. Kristen?
I was going to ask, do you guys have anything to add to this conversation? Because obviously it affects you guys the most, right? And so I think our whole goal was to never give you all the impression that we expect like these types of things to be treated as an emergency as such, right? So if you have thoughts, by all means.
PJ. Right. Yeah. Right.
Yep. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see any reason to change that.
Yeah, and I think our anticipation would be if you all felt like the project seemed to be larger in scope than what is just an everyday need, right? You would loop in your liaison and we would have that conversation, right? Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think what we're saying, sorry, Mike, did you have anything to add?
I just think
I think the surveyor or somebody has the back truck now, right? Their own.
I think
we traded our old back truck for a generator.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, that was just an example I could think of from the past.
Yeah, that's fine, but I'm just saying that I think they have one now.
I guess my input would be that if the department head is not really sure, maybe then they do contact the liaison person. Then that liaison person may even, I know we can't make a vote or anything, but could contact another board member and say, hey, well, this is up in the air here. But I think between liaison and the department head person, I think that a decision could be made, especially about in-kind thing that may be like no more than a day's work or something like that. But
yeah. So I think what we're trying to say, Alicia,
okay,
is that we would like the relationship between our superintendents and the county superintendents and elected officials to continue as they have in the past, with our support and blessing. And for the purposes of this agreement, any projects that we will participate in that are unusually or extraordinary projects that aren't your typical daily maintenance of waterways, we would want to have input on those, whether it is in kind or we contribute financially.
Okay. Essentially,
Does that
like
sound right?
superintendent discretion, right? So if a superintendent says, this feels a little bit outside, they're going to call their liaison, right? But everyday stuff, it's at their discretion.
So the goal is not to become their primary contractor on their primary contractor list,
No.
but that if they are available and they can, that they are welcome to contact the superintendent and say, hey, can you? And it's up to them to say, yes, we can fit that in, or no, we can't.
Yes.
Because
But another thing is, we meet every 2 weeks.
Right.
I mean,
Right. And that's,
it's
you know,
not
we
like
have the
if it's-
ability to react quickly
Yeah.
if we need to.
Right.
Um,
I do have a probing question
Yeah.
on that discussion point.
Sure.
So I can foresee it's kind of like where's the edge of daily maintenance operation. My understanding is that the county drainage is contracted by a couple of local contractors. Are their normal go-to people? We know who those are. I can name them.
Right.
You know,
Every year they approve a list of contractors, and you know they'll call
and
whoever.
I think it's not our intent that the utility department replace those contracted entities and do contract work to maintain ditches in the city. That's not our intent, right?
Right, and that's a great point because those folks they still need to make money too.
Correct. And so that's exactly my point.
Yeah.
I don't want to be seen as a free waiver that allows the county to avoid those contractors and spending money with those contractors just because they can make a phone call to PJ and get a backhoe in 4 hours notice. That's not what I thought this agreement was for. So I want to make sure we're correctly characterizing. To me, this is a project that requires where the county is asking for our participation and we're agreeing to do that. Not the casual. We're always going to support where we can, and I think we've always done that.
Right.
So I'm not sure where the edge is.
Right, and I think you are all correct, and I think really it probably goes back to the way I worded it initially when I talked about in kind. I think that was I left that too open to interpretation, and now.
Well, I think we can rein it back in.
Right.
I think we just need to put into the agreement a paragraph that says essentially that we've always had a working relationship with the county,
Right.
that we wish to continue that relationship as we have in the past. This contract in no way, diminishes that relationship or causes our folks to say no every single time. However, it is not our intention to become the county's primary contractor with regard to drainage projects. And I think we put that paragraph in there, and that will clarify sufficiently that purpose isn't to be their number one call, but we will help when we can.
Sure.
Just
So-
like we
I'm
always
so
have.
glad you were able to state that so succinctly. Great job, Alicia. It's like you do this every day.
So I think the big carrot that they should be chasing is so far this year we put $20,000 aside for projects in this, which I thought they would that sounds more exciting to me than
in-kind
getting some
contractual
brush
work.
out of the ditch, but whatever.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
so the in-kind stuff would be over and above the $120,000 a year that we've decided to put earmarked for these projects in perpetuity.
Yes.
Anyway.
And to me, as kind of the balancing method, it would be my expectation that within their reports to the board, the department heads would mention, we help Dan's office clear
or whoever,
two
highway,
trees from Prairie Creek south of Armstrong, in their monthly report. I think that would be my expectation, that we hear back when we do aid them in that manner. But it is separate and apart. We're not getting into our allocation that we voted to.
And I think they pretty well done. I remember we had to do something for the Wesley Manor, and it was water, wasn't it? And you reported at the next meeting that that they were in kind of a dire situation, and they called you and you guys went and helped them. I believe even you billed them, I believe. So I mean that's the kind of thing that we've always done, and I think it's good for the community, and it's good for us as a organization to be seen as we're there if you need us.
Okay. Partner.
Okay.
The third.
Yeah, the last one was what do we want to call it? Do we want to call it the Prairie Creek Watershed and include all of the different elements of the Prairie Creek Watershed as a whole? Or do we want to call it, so they have either the assessment area or the drainage area? Or we can specify specific facilities such as Prairie Creek itself or the different drains that are a part of the Prairie Creek assessment area. We just want Prairie Creek. is what
I
we're
think
thinking.
that's what
That's-
we discussed on the
that's
first
fine.
one.
That's
well,
what
I think
I
that
was
was our
trying-
intent. And
yeah.
again, I
Trying to go
use
for.
the terminology watershed, which is a whole different. I mean, that's a large geographical region,
Right. Okay.
and
The advantage of that is you can open Beacon and select the Prairie
And you
Creek
can see it.
watershed view and see it on a map, and that's what I like about that. It's quantifiable.
Right.
This area.
Right. So what I'm hearing though is that we want to define what we're doing as Prairie Creek itself, period. None of the other
I
pieces
think
of
so
it.
because I don't know what.
He said it was Prairie Creek itself, the Oi, I don't know how to say
Harmon
it.
Oy.
Open and closed drains, branches 3, 4, and 5, and a small portion of the VJ Man open. Which I don't know what all of those are,
Yeah.
but that's the entire assessment area, apparently.
I think what's difficult for me about that is our financial investment, if we were covering all of that, is kind of a drop in the bucket at that point, right? And so I think the more we widen the scope, the financial investment
It
becomes
dilutes our
right.
contribution.
Right. I mean,
Okay.
that's my thought on it. I think it makes the most sense. Again, I don't know what all of those things mean either, but my hope would be that we would focus it on the initial intent, which was
Okay.
Prairie Creek
So,
specifically.
and to help characterize that, if we just talk about the small portion of the VJ Man open ditch, what that consists of is the VJ Man ditch where it goes underneath Williams Road on the bridge
MASH
near my back yard. It's at that point it's in the city. To the west until it joins with Prairie Creek at the junction just west of my house. That it's maybe a half mile long.
Okay.
Open ditch.
Uh-huh.
And again, it's 8 feet wide and 4 feet deep. It's
Uh-huh.
easily managed in terms of just maintenance without big equipment. Or
Gotcha.
there's not much can go wrong because of a tree falling into it that you
Gotcha.
drag out with the chain. So then that's not technically Prairie Creek. It gets to be Prairie Creek at the named junction of Prairie Creek, right? So again, I think we're talking about Prairie Creek, not all the tributaries to Prairie Creek.
Right. So yeah, and so what I will do is I will just clarify that what we are talking about is the creek itself, not anything else associated with the creek, not the entire like assessment area, but just the creek. If there's a project with the creek, the bank, or we have to pull a shed out of the creek or something like that.
Right.
Those are the projects that we're talking about, not the entirety of the system.
Correct.
Got it.
Because the watershed, the Little League Diamond is in the watershed, but I don't want to be removing trees from the Little League Diamond because it's part of the watershed.
And that's exactly why I brought it up as a point, because I didn't have the correct terminology when I initially drafted it. So I called it a Prairie Creek Watershed Facility, trying to get to the infrastructure itself that we were, going to. And then he responded and said all of these things, and I was like, I don't think that's what we wanted.
I think it's Prairie Creek proper, the creek itself.
The creek
right?
itself.
Okay.
Yeah, I will define it in the agreement. Okay, I will make changes to that, and then I will get that back to Tom. He did have a couple of small changes that weren't a big deal. So I will make those changes, get it to you all, and then we'll get it back to Tom, and we'll see where we can go from there.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you, Alicia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next, under unfinished business, we have the employee handbook potential revision regarding. I didn't know how to describe it other than childbirth leave. I didn't.
Well,
say maternity
essentially,
or paternity.
Yeah.
Primary
Essentially,
caregiver leave.
what we need to do is if we did indeed adopt the city handbook in almost its entirety, except for other things, that existing paternity leave clause would have been present in our handbook. So the question is Mike and I need to verify if we did indeed put that as a part of the handbook that you all read, that we adopted, because all that this was an updated portion regarding holidays, and if holidays overlap with paternity leave or maternity leave, what that does for the payout related to that portion of their leave. So this policy in and of itself was already in the handbook.
Okay.
So what we need to determine is, did we adopt the handbook when we discussed it here in this room
Right.
with that existing clause in it because of adopting almost the entire city handbook in its entirety. And then we would just need to update the clause that they added to the updated policy.
Okay.
Is that
So
fair?
it's not really, yeah, it's not like
It's not really a
complete
full revision. It's
yeah.
not like they're taking a new policy and injecting it in.
I got you. So it was already 30 days. Okay. I'm not.
The only piece was the
clarifying.
holiday.
Okay,
The
if
holiday
there's a
piece.
holiday, do you get an extra day?
Yeah.
And actually, you're treating it just like you do a holiday for vacation. If I understand correctly, and
Okay.
if you have a vacation day and it's a holiday, instead of having 7 days, you have 8.
Got you.
8 days.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
I believe there was also, yes, just general updates related to legality or ethical implications tied to the new landscape that is this year, right? So, in and of itself, I apologize. I did not
No.
have the time to go back and double check and see. My assumption is that we would have left that in there, right? That is my general assumption,
Yeah.
which means that we would have already previously adopted the policy. So now, because we voted on it, accepted the handbook as it sat, so now we would need to just add this additional clause in to come into agreement with the legality of it, and then we would be able to publish the handbook and have everyone sign off.
I would make a motion that we have that additional wording that's necessary to comply, to mirror what was in the city handbook.
Okay. We've got a
I'll
motion
second that
from
motion.
Mike Kay and a second from Rick G. Roll call.
Mike Reeder,
Aye.
Rick Gunyon,
Aye.
Mike Kelly,
Aye.
Krista Stillwell,
Hi.
Josh Ewitz.
Aye.
I do have a related question, if I
Yes.
may. So fortunately, I think because the attorney of record for the utilities is the same as the city.
Uh-huh.
What's important going forward is that there be maintained a precise care, custody, control revision of the handbook. So we would need to know what is the revision and date, however you identify that,
Mm-hmm.
for the handbook we've approved, adopted, and then should the city wish to make a change,
Mm-hmm.
there somehow needs to be a notification that they're making a revision, and then we need to understand, is that something we simply accommodate or have to discuss, or
So
we provide input to, or
yeah, I did actually address that directly with Cheryl. Cheryl's normal process was to normally include Todd on that chain of custody. And now I asked that she also loop me in being on this committee with having done this whole thing. So now there will be two of us that will be, both Todd and myself will be notified if the city does indeed make a change or a policy or that sort of thing. We'll get the draft on the front end of it as well. And then I will bring it to the board to share.
so. Let me ask this question of Alicia: who's responsible for the care, custody, and control of the revision process? Is that
So I don't usually do a whole lot with the revisions. Typically what happens is I believe that someone recommends it and then Cheryl works with Jeremy York and then they put together the revision and then it's presented to the Board of Works.
it
So
comes
I
from
usually, I'm sorry.
so it comes from our personnel department, Cheryl.
Yeah, I believe Cheryl's the one. Mayor, correct me. Cheryl's the one that's with Jeremy. And then the two of them, yeah. Yeah, and they come up with the language and then that's presented to the Board of Works and then the Board of Works approves it and then it's added to the handbook. So I don't usually have a whole lot of process with the updates. Typically.
So the goal would be now, it would be both Board of Works notification as well as Utility Service Board notification for approval and adoption.
But not really notifying the board, be notifying yourself.
And then I'm notifying the board. So I'm the point of contact, essentially. And then
because-
I am ensuring all of you are made aware of it simply because I served on the committee to ensure that this handbook process took place.
Right. So both boards would need to approve any additional language that was presented.
Correct.
So
And
you
that's-
guys would
okay.
approve it as a board and then
Correct.
the Board of Works would approve it as
And
a
that's
board.
that's the ultimate. That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
That's the end
Yes.
point. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
just keeping it simple for Cheryl. That's why, I mean, if anyone has any objection to me being that person, by all means, I'm
No.
happy to. But that was the whole goal, is that I would serve as the point of contact in addition to Todd to ensure all of you received the proper terminology and it made it onto our next agenda to discuss.
With regard to this change, there is some language that we need to redline because it refers to the clerk treasurer's office.
Right.
Do you want me to go ahead and do that at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments, discussion regarding that topic? Okay, moving on. We listed, or I put salary survey authorization to determine scope on here, and what that is, and long and short, is I would like to give Krista the authority to determine which positions are surveyed. And I think everybody has had their input on what that should be. Rick, I know I gave you an update. I don't know if you have any other thoughts. If you do, please direct those to Krista. Should we all agree that we proceed in that manner?
I'm a little bit fuzzy as to what you're actually talking about.
Okay.
To what are you
Which
referring?
positions we want to have surveyed for the salary
which-
survey? Sorry, I didn't. Maybe
Okay,
I
which
didn't.
employment positions?
That's
And
correct.
I'm in full agreement with the list as presented.
Okay.
Totally subscribe to that. Yeah.
Okay. I think that covers that, correct?
Yep, as long as you're all in consensus and you all
And-
agree that
And
Chris
the
is
scope
here.
is
Form of a motion.
salary wages. It's not salary wages benefit.
Wage and compensation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We agree.
You can do it either way if you want a motion. If you want a motion so that you've got a motion for later,
Whatever
that's fine.
pleases the chair.
If you want
I'm
consensus, we
fine.
just need to put it in the minutes that there was
Yeah.
consensus.
No, we've already approved the expenditure. We're just saying, Krista. let it rip.
I agree.
I agree.
Okay.
Now, for all intents and purposes, the contract was delivered to my inbox. Does that need to be signed by more than one of us, or am I authorized to sign that agreement on behalf of the Utility Service Board?
I
would
think
say her.
I think we can have you sign it, but
Mm-hmm.
I would like in the form of a motion that she's authorized to sign any documents necessary to complete the project.
So move.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion by Mike R., a second by Mike K. Roll call.
Rick Gunyon,
Aye.
Mike Kelly,
Aye.
Mike Reeder,
Aye.
Krista Stillwell,
Abstain.
Josh Hewitt.
Aye. Okay, any other comments or discussion on that topic?
Is there a timeline of expectations as to when we might get that information back?
That's
3 months, 6 months?
that's the next step of us. So once we enter into the agreement, we'll have an initial onboarding conversation to discuss the timeline. I believe there were generalities put into the agreement, but because we had not solidified the exact number we would be submitting to them for analysis, they did not provide a distinct timeline because it was open-ended as far as how
Okay.
many we would be
If
surveying.
you inform the board once you get a timeline.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Very good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
Okay, all right. No other unfinished business was on the agenda. Is there any that anyone can think of that I have forgotten? All right. New business. I think we already took care of that. I put the lagoons improvement plan under new business, but you took care of
I
it.
jumped
during-
again.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. You took care of it. It makes
Fine.
more sense to do it that way anyway. I like it. I like it. A couple things to add. Mike just gave you this. It's the 2026 annual meeting for IMPA. You all got the email from Krista. Please feel free to go or don't go, whatever you decide to do. And I think I probably will go just to familiarize myself. I don't know that it's something I need to go to much more than that, and I'll probably get a free lunch out of it. So, but had that, and I didn't have anything else to report. Anybody else have anything for the good of the business?
I would just recommend for those members that wish to go, just give Todd a heads up so he doesn't get surprised when he walks around the corner
right.
and sees you standing there.
Yep. Nope.
So,
I agree.
Okay.
Ha
What
ha,
are all these people
Bill.
here for?
We don't have no surprises
Stalker
down
out there on the porch catching
Yeah.
us all driving in.
there. Yeah.
I don't
nothing else.
And I guess I will add to that. I don't know if everyone is aware, but IMPA is becoming a really great partner in our community. They are kindly and generously donating funds to not only the Mayor's Sparkling Success Luncheon, but also to our summer concert series. And I think it just shows a demonstration of their commitment to relationship with our community beyond just being our electric provider. And I think that it's wonderful of them to continue to invest in our community like that. So we very much appreciate that.
Okay. One thought I did have before I let you all go is, items like that, like we bring up, do you guys think we need to add a section to the agenda for reports from board members, or you think we just bring things up under new business? Was that okay? Are you guys fine with that, the way I handled that, or would you rather we do it a different way?
I think it's great.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think typically, like, if liaisons for their respective areas have reports or decisions made, it typically falls under new business, and I'm fine with that as long as, by all means, new business doesn't start ballooning, and then we need to obviously create a section for liaison reports or something. But.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. No other business. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, thanks.
All right. Motion by Krista,